How to read America's early voting numbers ahead of Election Day. For the first time since August, Donald Trump has overtaken Kamala Harris in the Economist's statistical model of America's presidential election. Our latest forecast gives Mr. Trump a 53% chance of returning to the White House, up 7 percentage points in the past week. Although the race remains more or less a coin toss, it is now weighted slightly in Mr. Trump's direction. The shift in our model reflects a steady narrowing of Ms. Harris's lead in national polls during the past months. State-specific polls published in the past week confirmed that Mr. Trump's position had strengthened slightly in the probably decisive state. Clues to what will happen on November 5th are not only to be found in polls. Millions of Americans have already voted. Nobody knows whom they voted for, but it is possible to compare turnout with previous cycles and draw inferences from that. Both parties are putting their energy into turning out their bases. Elon Musk's legally murky scheme to give away $1 million a day to registered voters in swing states, apparently to spur voting by supporters of Mr. Trump, has lately drawn a spotlight. Yet many other less profligate attempts to lift turnout are shaping the final. Frenzied days of the race between Mr. Trump and Ms. Harris. One group is distributing 100,000 copies of Liberty Nights comic book in Philadelphia to inspire young adults to turn out. Central Vote, which targets students at Central Michigan University, has offered inducement such as working tacos, smashed up bags of crisps mixed with ground meat, pickles on a stick. Voting is a big deal. And even a petting zoo with ghosts. Turnout in 2020 was the highest in an American election since 1900. Mr. Trump's polarizing presidency was one big factor. COVID-19 was another. All it led to emergency measures to make voting by mail easier. This time, COVID-19 restrictions have vanished, but Mr. Trump decidedly has not. One critical question is whether voter participation in 2024 will remain so elevated, and if not, who might benefit. Analysts are also scouring early vote numbers for clues about who might ultimately win. Some detected warning signs for the Harris campaign. Provisional evidence suggests that voter enthusiasm remains high. Early in-person voters in Georgia have shattered records, with 1.5 million turning up in the first 8 days, compared with just 1 million in 2020. North Carolina, another swing state, has also exceeded 2020's comparable figures, but more modestly. Officials in Maricopa County, Arizona, the most populous jurisdiction in that swing state, project turnout similar to 2020. Turnout may yet falter. If so, would this favor Mr. Trump or Ms. Harris? For decades, political science research found that Republicans benefited from lower turnout caused by factors such as bad weather, while Democrats benefited from higher turnout. But Mr. Trump's takeover of the Republican Party had changed the equation. His Republican coalition now draws more from working-class voters, whereas the Democratic coalition had shifted to draw heavily on those with college degrees. This means old beliefs about turnout and partisan advantage must be reconsidered. We can no longer make the assumption that high turnout elections are universally good for Democrats, says Elliott, a political scientist at Randolph Macon College. Mr. Trump's victory in 2016 amid relatively high turnout offers evidence for this view. America's higher voting rates may not endure beyond the Trump era, but the stunning rise of early voting almost certainly will. Between mail ballots and early in-person voting, 64% of Americans cast their ballots before Election Day in 2020, up from 42% in 2016. COVID-19 accelerated this, but early voting had grown steadily since the 1990s as convenience voting spread to the great majority of states. The total early vote may fall back this year in the absence of COVID-19, but for campaign managers, Tuesday's gone, as the title of a book about early voting by Mr. Fulmer puts it.